Well, hello, welcome back for 3 Jokes and a Verse. My name is Daniel Gregory. I'm pastor here at Mars Hill Baptist Church in Hillsborough, North Carolina, and I hope everybody will enjoy these 3 jokes and a verse. We're doing these so we can laugh a little bit and we can lean on God a little bit more, because in this time where we're separated, where we can't come together like we want to, we need a little bit of laughter and we need to lean on God just a little bit more in our life. First of the 3 jokes has little Johnny at school. Johnny's at school and his teacher comes up to him and says, "Johnny, if I gave you 2 cats and another 2 cats and then another 2 cats, how many cats would you have?" Johnny replies, "I'd have 7 cats. Teacher says, "Wait a minute, Johnny, listen to me again. I'll ask you again. If I give you 2 cats and then I give you 2 more cats and I give you 2 more cats, how many cats would you have?" Johnny says, "I would have 7 cats. The teacher says, "All right, wait a minute. I'll put it a different way. If I gave you 2 apples and I gave you 2 apples and then I gave you another 2 apples, how many apples would you have?" Johnny says, "I'd have 6 apples. "Okay. So if I gave you 2 cats, then I gave you 2 cats and I gave you 2 more cats, how many cats would you have?" Johnny says, "I would have 7 cats. The teacher gets all exasperated and says, "Johnny, how in the world do you get 7 cats? And he looks at her and says, "I already have 1 cat at home." Our second one is a little riddle. What do you get when you cross an elephant and a fish? The answer is you get swimming trunks. The final one is one that my grandfather actually told me. It was a whole story, so I hope you like it. The story goes that there was a frog who was going to go to the bank and he wanted to get a loan. Well, as the frog walks in, he's carrying a really old clock. See, the frog knows that the loan that he wants is kind of big, and he wants it to kind of start a business and all, but the bank is going to ask for collateral because he doesn't have the greatest of credit, and this is the first time he's ever done a loan, so he wants to come in, put his best foot forward. So he goes in, and as he's going into the bank, he goes to the loan office, and the loan officer's name is Patty Whack. And as he goes in, he gives his business proposal, and they go in and they do all the checking on his credit score and everything. And the bank manager says, "Do you have any collateral? Because obviously, this could fail, and the bank wants to make sure that we can get our money back." So the frog presents this old clock and says, "This clock has been in my family for many generations, and I know it's worth a lot of money. So I would put this up as collateral that in case I can't pay the loan back, I know the bank will get their money." So the loan officer looks at it and says, "I don't know anything about these antiques, and I really don't think this is going to be something that we could accept, and I don't think it'd be on the best interest of the bank to go in and take this loan." So the frog takes his clock and he goes out, and he's kind of a little bit moping and all, and he's walking towards the door, and the bank manager spies him out of the corner of his eye because he sees the clock. Now, the bank manager's mom and dad, they were antique dealers, so he grew up learning all about old antiques, and he loves these old clocks. And he goes up and he says, "Sir, can I see this clock?" And he admires the craftsmanship. He knows exactly how old it is, and he knows that it is tremendously valuable. And he said, "Sir, why did you come into my bank today?" And the frog says, "You know what? I came in to get a loan. I've got a business idea, and I needed to get a loan, but the loan officer over there, he says that this clock really isn't that great of a collateral, and says it'd be in the bank's best interest that I not get the loan." The bank manager looks at the frog and says, "You know what? This is crazy. You come with me." So he breaks in, he just pushes the door open to the loan officer's office, and he goes, "Listen, this ain't no knick-knack, paddywhack. Give this frog a loan." I remember when my grandfather told me that. I love that little joke. Our verse is my favorite proverb, Proverbs 13:20. In fact, I made calling cards out with all of my information on it, and this particular verse is on my card with my name and cell phone and all that good information. Proverbs 13:20 says this, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Whoever walks with the wise will be wise, but a companion of fools will suffer harm. And I love that verse because it speaks to each and every one of us. I love telling that to students, to those that are going into college, to those that are in elementary school, because basically it's saying this: the people that we surround ourselves with are the biggest influences of our life. And if we're walking, if we have those friends around us that are in fact that are good influences, that are wise, they're going to rub off on us, and we're going to be better because of it. But the exact opposite is true as well. If we surround ourselves with people we really ought not be associating with, then that's going to bring us down. A companion of fools will suffer harm. And I think of this time when we're separated and we don't have our schools open and we don't have our many of the businesses open and all. And I got to thinking that, this time of quarantine, this time where we're not able to get out and about like we usually do, it could be one of the best blessings that some of us have ever had. Parents, you might be thinking, you're so glad that your son or your daughter is at home because they're not being influenced by that bad child at school that they hang out with, or they're not influenced poorly by the friends that they hang out with. And they're saying, look at the great difference in my child's life because they don't have bad influences. The opposite also might be true too. You might be saying, hey, this is the greatest thing ever because you're able to hang out with those that are being great influences. I think about our children being just with close family, being with mom and dad, and they're gaining all this great wisdom from you, and you're able to be a good influence. And it could be parents, y'all's children are influencing you, or grandchildren, or whoever it is that you're very close to right now. You might be having the greatest influences of your life, and this verse is so true that when you have wise people that you are around, and when you have good influences in your life, that's going to raise you up. And this also gives us something to think about as we approach that time when hopefully we're going to be able to open up our economy and be back in places like church or restaurants, or just being able to hang out with our friends. This verse is really good for us to put to our hearts and to our minds to say, who do I really need to hang out with? Who is it that I need to surround myself with? Because we understand that the good influences that are out there, that's who we really need to keep close. So I would encourage you to keep this verse close in your heart, memorize it. If you have to, write it down on a business card and just keep it in your pocket and look over it 2 or 3 times a day and remind yourself. Because it's a great truth from God's Word that the people that we keep close to us, that influence us, are so, so important, because they can either bring us up or they can bring us down. So keep that close within your heart and ask the Lord to say, hey, place within my life those people that are wise, those people that are good influences, and I promise you this, it will make a world of difference. If you're out there and you have the opportunity and the chance to influence somebody's life, to lift them up, I hope that you will do that, either with a phone call or a written letter saying, hey, you know what, I just wanted to give you a word of encouragement. And you know what, you, by doing that, might rub off on their life, and you might be able to influence them that they might be wise. I hope those things will help you laugh a little bit today and lean on God just a little bit more as we have this time apart. And I do hope that that time will be short. So until we're able to meet together, be safe, be well, and I hope to see you soon.